So as a kid, I would say I was the good kid. You know, I wanted to make people proud of me and to not stand out, like to not get in trouble, just kind of hang back. And I would say I was a moral kid. I was baptized when I was 12 because I grew up in a church. They spoke about the age of accountability, and I thought, oh, I'm 12 years old now. If I don't get baptized, I'm not going to go to heaven, and that scared me. And so I was baptized at 12, but I didn't come to know the Lord until I was 18 years old, and I was baptized again. But that time I believe it was really God changed my heart, and I began to be convicted of my sin and turn away from my sin versus just try to be good on the surface and do what others wanted me to do. Yeah, so my first husband, I got married at 22. His name was John, and just really a blessing to each other. We got married, and I really wanted to wait a while to have a baby, but as soon as I was married, I just started dreaming of babies, and so we got pregnant, and I found out that I had some problems with the pregnancy, and she was born and 4 months early and lived 5 weeks, and her name was Rainey. And then that was just a rough time in our marriage, just because we both grieved differently. We both were believers, but I kind of lost hope for a while, like that God would bless me in that way. We did get pregnant again, and our son Jack was stillborn at 6 months, and had another C-section and went through that, and I was just in a bad place, and God pulled me out of it quickly. He didn't want me there, and said, you know, to my heart, I have these plans for you, and if it be my will that you be a mother, I will give that to you. I wouldn't have the desire still in your heart if I didn't have that plan for you. So as soon as I received that peace, I found out about my daughter, Sydney, and my cousin called me and asked me if I would adopt her baby. She was 6 months pregnant, and I said, of course. She was born like 3 months later, and I was really scared during that time that God would take her away from me, that her mother would change her mind or something would fall through, but I just had to lean on Him and my husband to redirect my heart. Adoption was final after 9 months, and she was ours. And when my daughter was 2, John was diagnosed with cancer. Wow, okay, God, and we'll deal with this. And he was diagnosed with a type of cancer that's pretty curable, and so, you know, it has a high cure rate. So I trusted God that he would be cured, and found out later he had multiple cancers, and that it became very aggressive, and he passed away when Sydney was 3.5. That was March of 2009. When John passed away, it was, I can tell you, it was 5-something in the morning, and I felt the warmest peace I've ever felt in my life, because he struggled for a long time, and he was young, and he had a strong heart, and I remember pleading with God to take him because he was suffering, and I knew where he was going, and he knew where he was going too, so I remember feeling like a peace and a relief. I was listening to his heart when his heart stopped, and it was just immediate, like he's not in any pain anymore, and he's with the Father. So I felt guilty when I would think back on that time, like, why am I okay or happy that he's not here anymore? And you know, I struggled with that, went back and forth, like, I wish he was here. God, why didn't you take him away from me? And I would get angry, and I got scared. That was the biggest thing I remember feeling, is feeling really scared that what if God took my daughter, Sydney, too? she was all I had. So I remember just getting really mad at God and just, I don't know if I was speaking out loud, I can't remember, but it felt like I was just telling God, I dare you to take someone else from me. I threatened him. I told him I won't love you anymore and I will turn my back on you. You know, people say all the time, and it makes me so mad, that God won't give you more than you can handle. And I heard it probably 100 times in that 5-year period and 5 years after. And He will give you more than you can handle. And He wants you to turn to Him in those times of need and to not rely on your own strength, because you will break. You will break in your own strength. You will be weak. And the only way you can be strong is to fully rely on Him. And I'm just thankful that even though I grieve sometimes, that I had those thoughts towards God, you know, that I got angry, that He's forgiven me and that He doesn't hold a grudge, and that sin, the anger that I felt and the threat towards God has been forgiven. So I'm thankful to the Lord for bringing me to this point, just like and teaching me to rely on Him fully. I can tell you I struggle with that still, but He's okay with me struggling. You know, He just wants me to come back to Him, and so just knowing that I can come back to Him. The biggest thing for me is knowing that I'm chosen and that I can't out-sin His grace, and that I'm His.